How's it going, everybody? Chadley here, and in today's video we're going to be updating Godfist Amara to level 65. This is our first build update, and this week we're basically going to have daily build videos, whether they're brand new builds, we have a couple of those, and also other updates, so make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel for those. But today we are starting with Godfist Amara. This is personally my favorite Amara build. You guys can hit damage cap all the time with this build. It is a little ridiculous. Any content in the game you guys want to do, you will be able to do it with this build, whether that's true guardian takedown, seriously whatever you want. And it actually got even better with the new Amara class mod in DLC 4, but that's really the main change with this build. So let's go ahead and start off with our gear here. Now, each one of these slots has a specific role it is going to play in this build. You guys can do basically all the content with just a face puncher with the 390 anointment. That's pretty much all you need. These other ones are just for specific scenarios. But like I said, most of the time you're going to have this in your hands. This is going to allow you guys to do way more damage with all your phase grasps and your stinger novas and all that good stuff. Then the 100 melee face puncher, this is for like bosses who go below that 90% health threshold and you guys want to do more damage to them. Have this out when you're shooting the white elephants and all that. And then Linoge with the 390 anointment. This doesn't have to be the Linoge. It's just a weapon with the 390 anointment and then a high melee damage on the card. So right here it says 120% melee. There are other items you can use. It's completely up to you which one. But I just have a Linoge with that. This is for just getting the highest damage on the first grasp we do to an enemy possible. This is going to allow you guys to have your stinger just get insane damage, and it's a little nuts. And then finally, I'm using a gargoyle. It's not the best in slot. Technically, the wyvern, it's a blue pistol that is the best because it can have 100 melee and roll with splash damage. But basically, you're going to want a weapon with the 200 splash anointment and then a bayonet on it. So Kibsworth can also do that. It's completely up to you guys which weapon you use. So you guys can farm a bunch of different items for this and just get whatever's easiest. But this is going to allow us to deal a lot more damage with the Nova on enemies who are below that 90% health threshold. So basically, when we can't use the Linoge, we're going to use the Gargoyle. But most of the time, like I said, we are going to be using the 390 face puncher. Now, one of the most important items in this build is going to be the Stinger. I know this thing is kind of a pain to farm, but I'm still using level 60 versions. You do not need a level 65 to be able to do this at level 65. The level 60s, if you've had them, are perfectly fine and will get you by until you can farm up the level 65s. And then just try to get as many different elements as possible, because basically what you're doing with this build is just matching whatever elements to whatever enemies you're fighting. So armor bosses, put on corrosive stuff. Shield bosses, shock. You guys get the picture. And then for our grenade, you can either run Its Piss or Fish Slaps if you have them. It's completely up to you. I mean, our Stinger is doing the melee Nova and proccing Groundbreaker all the time, so you really don't need the Fish Slap, but sometimes I'll run those. Its Piss is definitely the next best bet, in my opinion. And then normally I'll just run Radiation so I can get those rad explosions going all the time. And that's usually my favorite bonus element to be using unless I'm farming a specific boss with a specific health bar. And then for our class mod, we are going to be using the new Muse class mod that was introduced with DLC 4. This thing can roll with 3 Illuminated Fists. That is so much extra melee damage. It's insane. And then we're also going to want Laid Bare on here, but just try to get as much Illuminated Fist as you can. It goes up to 3. And then for our artifacts, we're just going to be using the different stone white elephants. Just get the different elements. So we have Corrosive Stone, Fire Stone, Shock Stone. Those are the main 3 that you need depending on what kind of health bars you're fighting. Obviously, Shock with shields, Fire health, and Corrosive with the armor. Just keep matching those with whatever you're fighting and you guys will be good to go. Also, another artifact you guys can be using, and what I use for a lot of boss kills, is Unleash the Dragon. I'm still using a level 57 version. You do not need an updated one. Really doesn't matter. Any Unleash the Dragon will do. It's going to put that super high fire dot on the enemy at the start of the fight when you grasp them or activate your action skill and hit them with the Stinger Nova. That's pretty much all you need. So now that we got the gear out of the way, let's go ahead and move over to our skill trees. We're going to be starting off in the Mystical Assault skill tree. Right here is an overview of all 3 of the skill trees. If you guys want to copy that down into your own game, go ahead and pause it here. But otherwise, let's go ahead and jump into the breakdown here. So we're going to do 5 points into Do Harm to make our Ties That Bind do as much damage as humanly possible. 3 points into fast hands for the reload and the weapon swap, 1 point into tapestry just because we're doing all the rush stuff, and then 2 points into alacrity for more reload, and since we're doing all of the rush stacking, 3 points into transcend, 5 points into restless so we can keep that ties that bind going all the time and keep sending out those stinger novas, 1 point into ascendant to boost our revelation damage, then 3 points into laid bare so we do increased damage against targets we hit with our action skill, 3 points into wrath for the extra gun damage. This is going to boost the face puncher even though it shoots melee, and then 3 points into awakening to boost our rush stacks, 1 point into remnant because remnant orbs are insane and will allow you guys to hit 4 billions of damage, and then 1 point into avatar for more rush stacks and also casting our action skill twice. So then moving on to Fist of the Elements, we're going to be doing 5 points into Anima, 3 points into Steady Hands, 5 points into Infusion. This is going to allow our face puncher to get lifesteal with sustainment and also just match whatever elements we're fighting. And then 5 points into Tempest here for the bonus elemental and shock damage. And then 1 Illuminated Fist for the melee damage. And then 1 point into Dread for the bonus gun damage when we have an enemy grasp. And then finally 1 point into Sustainment for the lifesteal so we can actually stay alive. And like I said, we are obviously using ties that bind. And then moving on to our final skill tree here. Now, personal space actually does not affect the face punchers. I just have this in case I need to shoot with like the gargoyle or the Linoge or whatever. Just in case. You really don't need more health since we have sustainment. If you guys really don't want to use personal space, you don't ever think you're going to shoot the Linoge or Gargoyle, anything like that, just put it into like Root to Rise or Clarity, whatever you guys want. Just 5 points into this first tier to get you guys down to Arms Deal. We're going to put 5 points into there for the splash damage and splash damage reduction. Those are both huge. And finally, 1 point into Find Your Center for the bonus melee damage. And then for our augment, we are going to be using Revelation. They changed ties that bind, so now that gun damage and melee damage are the only thing that goes through ties, I have found that Revelation is still the way to go. You can just grasp enemies, not even shoot, and they will still die. Taking off Revelation, like putting on like Soul Sap or something, I no longer had that effect. So I'm going to continue to use Revelation. I still think it is the best augment for ties that bind. And then our action skill element, just match this to whatever enemies you're fighting like you were doing with the Stinger Shield and your artifact, and you guys will be good to go. So then real quick, let's go ahead and look at our Guardian ranks. Really the only Guardian rank that you guys are really going to want with this build is Groundbreaker. Groundbreaker is just so incredibly powerful and is one of the reasons we can do all of the crazy one-shots that we can with this build. So definitely move down the Enforcer tree and get Groundbreaker as soon as you can. And then for the modifiers, it really doesn't matter, whatever you guys like. I personally like Speed Demon, Healy Avenger, and then I usually tolerate Laser Fair. Drone Ranger is also a really good hard modifier to be using. That one, you'd never even notice it. And then Postmortem is usually what I run for very hard, especially with the enemies doing M10 damage. I'm not going to be running Roguelite, and I can also kill myself with barrels pretty often, so Postmortem is usually just the easiest to deal with this build, in my opinion. So like always, to end our build videos, I'm going to show you guys exactly how to play this build. Now, I'm just here in true Maliwan takedown, and normally what I'll run is a Corrosive Stone White Elephant and the Corrosive Stinger with bonus radiation on our grenade, and we're pretty much good to go. All you got to do is hold the 390 anointment on the face puncher and just get really close to the enemies, shoot them when you need to, and then when you can grasp them, go ahead and just grasp them, and they're going to die immediately. And then just make sure you take out the jetpack guys, because enemies are still doing a lot of damage, and they can kill you if you are not constantly doing damage and proccing sustainment. But otherwise, just shoot the face puncher when you don't have grasp, and then grasp when you can, and you guys are going to destroy literally everything. I'm going to go ahead and skip forward to the Kraken and show you guys how you can insta-kill him. All right, so now we can go fight the Kraken. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take out this Battle Wolf real quick. And then we're just going to run in, make sure our bonus elements are active, and all you have to do is holding the 390 face puncher is grasp and shoot. Sometimes you don't even have to shoot and it will just instantly die, and you're pretty much good to go. Just go ahead and keep moving on. So yeah guys, that's practically how you play this build. 390 most of the time, 100 melee face puncher for bosses below the 90 health threshold, and then the 390 120 melee gun, in my case the Linoge. Use this when you just want to front load a bunch of damage on the first grasp on an enemy, and then a 200 splash weapon with a bayonet, so in my case the Gargoyle. For enemies below that 90% health threshold, instead of using Linoge, you're going to use that. And that's pretty much all you need. Just match your elements and you guys will have no trouble taking on any content in the entire game, I promise you. So yeah guys, thank you so much for watching this build video. If you did appreciate the video, make sure you leave a thumbs up on it to let me know. Also, you make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. We're gonna have almost daily build videos for probably the next week or a little more. So it'd be awesome having you guys come back for that. Also, we stream every single night over on Twitch. It'd be awesome to see you guys over there. But I hope you have a fantastic day and I'll catch you all in the next video. See ya.